So I played Mass Effect, the whole trilogy, that entire Legendary Edition for the very first time, and I want to talk about it. But before we get on to the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. You can always subscribe to the channel for weekly content. And don't forget to go there and follow me at Twitter at LordAddictILP. Without any further ado, let's talk about Mass Effect, the Legendary Collection, which is all 3 games. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you for another video. Today we're gonna be low-key reviewing the Mass Effect Trilogy, the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, the game the majority of my friends refer to as the GOAT. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've really sat down and played all of these games from beginning to end. So let's start with Mass Effect 1. I actually really enjoyed this. I feel like going into this, sure, the gameplay's a little outdated, there's no denying that, but I do feel like there is a lot to be taken in place here. Now, for those of you that's coming into this like I was, playing this in 2021, playing this outdated gameplay, but one thing I could say to you guys is I beg you, deal with it. Go through this game, deal with some of the outdated mechanics in it because it gets better. Mass Effect 2 is a lot better than Mass Effect 1 in terms of a lot of the life changes that they put into this. Now, they did go back and they tried to improve Mass Effect 1 to be more like Mass Effect 2. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that was built on the core foundation of Mass Effect 1 that they really couldn't go back and fix. Let's talk about the RPG mechanics. For me, I felt like the RPG in Mass Effect 1 and really Mass Effect 2 and 3 was very, very light. And I think a lot of people are going to play this because there's some illusion going around that Mass Effect is extremely RPG heavy. It's not. It's really RPG light. And that's okay because I feel like right now, in terms of what Mass Effect does well, is I feel like it does the characters well. It does the building the universe around you well. It does the story that they tell you about these characters well. I don't necessarily think it's the RPG that you need to look forward to. You need to look forward to this massive universe that by the time you get to the 3rd game, you're going to be just like, wow, I cannot believe we did that. A couple games ago, I was talking about these areas, I was talking about these people, and now that we're doing it and we're helping them solve the issues that they've been talking to you since the 1st game about. Keep in mind, I am playing all of them back to back in 2021. I cannot imagine what it was like waiting multiple years between these titles to get the conclusion of some of the stories that they set up for in the original Mass Effect. Now let's talk a little bit about Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is an improvement in every way just about from Mass Effect 1, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Mass Effect 1 definitely came out years before Mass Effect 2, so you would obviously see a lot of life change movements and a lot of things that they improved in the second one that a lot of feedback didn't like about the first one, so it would make sense. But one thing, once again, about Mass Effect 2 is the story is on point. Now, I do think that the RPG mechanics in 2 was a little bit even less than Mass Effect 1, but me personally, I felt like it wasn't enough to make me feel a way about it. When you start Mass Effect 2, you're going to realize real quick that the decisions you made in Mass Effect 1 carried over to Mass Effect 2. Now, I don't know if they had this thought process going on during the development of Mass Effect 1, or it's something that they realized they could do between Mass Effect 1 and 2, but it is definitely one of the very few features that I've seen in games that is pretty much exclusive just to the Mass Effect brand. Now, sure, have other games done stuff that you've kept and decisions you've kept in games carried over to the sequels of that franchise? Yes, but I don't think it's anything even remotely close to what Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 have done in this game. I honestly feel like that's one of the biggest selling points of this game, is the fact that no matter what you do in Mass Effect 1, those decisions will carry over in Mass Effect 2. Now, as far as Mass Effect 2 goes, I feel like it is one of those things where it's set between 2 games such as Mass Effect 1 and 3. So certain things I do want you guys to be aware of. There are decisions in this game that I honestly feel like Bioware put in it, and know that you're not going to understand the effects of this until Mass Effect 3. So it would take a little bit away from you in terms of that. There's not a lot, but there are a couple. The decisions in Mass Effect 2 though are far more effective than they were going between Mass Effect 1 and 2. So I really think that you guys should definitely read that dialogue. There is a lot of information going on in Mass Effect 2 that you need to be aware of. Make sure that you choose every decision you make very effectively and very carefully, because whatever you do in this game is going to carry over to the third one in a big way. Keep in mind, I will briefly say this because I don't personally think this is a spoiler, but Bioware does not care how you feel about these characters. They will kill them off in a heartbeat. Between all the Mass Effect trilogy, they have no problem doing this. You have situations in these Mass Effect games that can lead to your favorite character dying. Hell, it could lead to your whole team dying. So definitely read, listen, go up there and make sure that you know what's going on. Do not skip stuff. Now, there's not a whole lot of other stuff I can say about Mass Effect 2 besides the gameplay is a lot more solid than Mass Effect 1. The story is continuing what happened in Mass Effect 1, but in a better way, because I do feel like they wanted to do a lot more in terms of the decision making in Mass Effect 2. So they made sure that they left that door open and they had a lot more decision making that went down in Mass Effect 2. But I would say Mass Effect 2 was a very great experience to me. I enjoyed the entire game, and I think I put like at least 10 more hours in Mass Effect 2 than I put in Mass Effect 1, because I felt like it was more rewarding. I wanted to learn more about the expansion of this universe. I wanted to learn more about the story that built up from the first one. One of the things that I love about the Mass Effect franchise is the use of their characters. The lore of these characters is just, it's insane. Sometimes you use characters and sometimes you won't use characters. Sometimes they'll build up characters to be villains. Sometimes if you make the right decision, they don't build them up to be villains. Everything you make is a decision. And sometimes if you make the wrong one, it's like I said, it could lead to your favorite character dying. Now let's talk about Mass Effect 3. Keep in mind, I'm not scripting none of this, you guys. I want this to be more free flow video than I normally do. Mass Effect 3, in my personal opinion, is the GOAT of the Mass Effect trilogy. A lot of the stories and a lot of the scenarios that these certain races in the Mass Effect franchise have dealt with their whole life, and the internal struggles of their species, you really solve in Mass Effect 3. There's scenarios that when you heard stories about it in Mass Effect 1, you generally felt bad for that species. And in Mass Effect 3, you actually, a lot of the times, can help them, or you don't have to help them. That's the beauty of the Mass Effect franchise, is it's all up to you. Another good thing that they did in Mass Effect 3 is they really built on everything that happened in Mass Effect 2. I will say I felt like there were certain decisions I made in Mass Effect 2 in terms of, you know, the RPG system that I didn't see carry over to Mass Effect 3, and I thought that was a little interesting. I also will say that there was scenarios that I did in Mass Effect 3 that I thought would actually help me towards the end of the game that didn't really carry over to the end of the game. So I think if there was any criticism I can make in that, it would be that some decisions, not many, but there are a couple decisions, and there's one big decision that I didn't really see the end result. Maybe it was something that I didn't do right in the game itself. I don't know. I'm not a big, huge Mass Effect lore person, but to me, when I was playing Mass Effect 3 and I was concluding that game, I did feel like some decisions in the entire trilogy didn't actually manifest itself in the time where it was supposed to. I can't really go too much into that. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as I possibly can. But I do feel like Mass Effect 3 is still the better of the three. Maybe it's because of the pacing of the game. Maybe it's because of how well they told the story, how well they built the universe. But it's still an amazing game, and I still think it's the best one out of the three. Now, let's talk about whether or not you should buy this. I think it is a no-brainer. I think that this is $60 or $70, I don't know exactly what it is, that it's worth every penny because of the fact that this game is 3 games. I honestly feel like, and I've played a lot of these type of games, I think this is the best trilogy that's ever been in gaming history. I think any of these games individually is an average to good game. But all 3 of the experience together, and you consider this one game, is the best experience in gaming you can have right now. And I think it's definitely worth the money that you invest into it. And I'm telling you right now to stop this video and go buy the Mass Effect Legendary Edition and experience this wonderful game and the world that Bioware has built around it. I don't personally think, when I see people on Twitter, when I see people on YouTube say they don't make games like this, I don't think they've ever made games like this. This is a one-in-the-kind of experience, and to me, I feel bad that it took me this long to really dig deep into this franchise. I feel like I missed out on something on the 360, and I should have played this more on the 360 and got all of these experiences into my head, because it has been a wonderful experience, and it was to the point where I could not stop playing them. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I know I was a little bit everywhere in this video. I tried to keep it a little bit more structured as I possibly could, but I did want to be a little bit more free in this because I wanted to really go off what was on the top of my head when I was playing this game. I took notes and I lost the note, but I promise you when I do these type of videos in the future, it'll be a little bit better structured. But considering this was 3 games, it was a lot harder to do in general. I'm no ACG, I'm no skill up. I definitely have a long way to go in terms of reviews, but I appreciate anyone that's got to this part of the video. But you know, it's like I said, this is a must. Go buy this game. This franchise is amazing. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.